Hello everybody, how's it going? Today we're playing another indie game. Today's game is Factotum 90, which you can get on Steam for $5.99, that's US dollars. It was released on Steam on June 20th, 2016. It is a single-player puzzle game despite it being only tagged as an adventure game. The developer and publisher, as it's an indie game, is TACS Games. Tax, I guess. Tax Games. TACS. So the theme here, before we jump into the game, is that there's a giant spaceship, something crashed into it, a lot of the important systems went down, people can't go repair them because it's not safe, so you, as these little cube robots that you see here, must control these robots to go solve the problem, but you can only control one at a time, so you kind of got to switch back and forth to figure out how to beat the level. A classic mechanic that we'll talk about more a little later. This game features full controller support, which we'll also talk about later. Lots of captions, achievements, trading cards, and yes, it is purely single player. No co-op mode for this, despite the fact that it's maybe well suited for co-op mode, but you know, that's a hard thing to add, kind of, so. Anyways, let's go ahead and jump in. I'm gonna start you guys off a couple levels behind where I've been able to achieve so that I can just sort of run through a couple of them and show you. So, yeah, so let's go ahead and, well, let's play the level. So it does all this queuing up, it shows you the map of the spaceship. This aesthetic is very like industrial and like sci-fi of yesteryear, kind of like Alien, and I really like it. So this is the main view of the game. It starts off by scanning it for you from a couple different camera angles, and then you
found a way to boost my scanning range by using the walkers as a relay. As the walkers make progress through the ship, I can get better resolution scans of the foreign object. I have to say, it's not quite where I thought it was. Either that or moving.
Alright, so there's a little hint, hopefully you heard that, of some plot, which is going through, which we will talk about a little later. It's not, as far as I've played, it's not like incredibly plot-driven, but there definitely is something there. So you'll notice that we have two robots, one whose camera is on the left, following it, and one whose camera is on the right, following it. So if I press E on my keyboard, I can actually switch. Cool. Alright, so that's great. You can sprint with them if you need to, so I know exactly what to do because I just played this level not that long ago. I've maybe played for a couple hours. This is by no means a full review. I think I'm a little over a third of the way through the game. So, alright, so the idea here is you can only use one at a time. So if I go through this portal here, that's the mechanic. You gotta remember where the portals come out.
Spy cargo lift. That is where we need to be. I'm updating the route to account for the object's apparent movements.
Yes, so as he just mentioned, the idea is to get to the end of the level, which has a cargo lift at every level. And you must get both bots there, you cannot leave them behind. So, how do you navigate this level? This is a very bare bones one. Bare bones isn't the right word here, but it's a very simplistic one where you kind of just need the blocks in the right place so that the buttons take your little robots around to the right one. But I thought it was a good one to start off showing the mechanics. So, you know, basically I've just been using the left screen, but
I'm surprised that we haven't bumped into any of the research staff yet. It's true that we're only seeing a small portion of the ship, but on these abandoned desks, perhaps they went to the communal area.
Okay, I'm just gonna talk over him. I really hate talking over things in games. It's so hard for me to do. So I've switched to the right side. You can still see the camera on the left. Press E and I'll switch back again, get off the button, which will raise this guy up. So you get the general idea here, right? So that is essentially the entire game, but there are lots of mechanics that add different obstacles which are interesting. So let's start talking about some of the things about this game that I like and dislike. Okay, so one of the things that I like is I really do like the puzzles. They are quite challenging. These last few I've been very stumped on, and I think that's good that I got through a third of the game and now I'm starting to get a little tricked out by them. Got to spend some time thinking about it. I just collected a collectible. There's one of those on every level, which you can collect. There doesn't appear to be a reason other than probably Steam achievements, maybe some trading cards. I don't really know how those work. So aesthetically speaking, it reminds me of Alien. Like I said, I like the futuristic but old mashup. It's something that you don't see a lot. I think they've done a pretty good job. Aside from, I would say, the menus and the sort of UI interface, that is where I think things have gone most astray with this game, which is why I'm going to start with that. So, digital explosions. I just beat this level, so I should know what to do. And I already got the collectible, so I don't need to take the time getting that. Right, so these are boxes you can leave around places.
The walkers can pick them up safely, like they can anything else. But once you set them down, the digital fuse will activate. It's not really a good idea to pick them up again after that.
Right.
They'll depress pressure plates too. Like a
So that's what they do. It's like a timed box, these ones. There are boxes earlier on that are not timed that just last forever. But these ones blow up after a little while, so, you know, you gotta hustle once you put them down. Not a bad mechanic. So basically I gotta get both guys on here. That box is gonna explode. We gotta back up. Get on the platform together. Head on out. Pretty simple, but that shows you yet another mechanic that's in your way, these boxes and stuff. So now we're at a level which I have not beaten, the one after this, I think. Okay, so my biggest concern with this UI has nothing to do with the style, though. I mean, I do think the borders on the screen are a little thick. I get it that you're supposed to be looking through this old monitor, and it's, you know, it's got fuzziness on it and static coming through, but it's like really beefy and doesn't really add that much. And again, on the lower right-hand corner, on the lower right-hand corner, there's this indicator to show the status of all your bots. For some reason, looking at the actual screens to tell you what's up with the bots isn't enough. I think it probably would be, but they chose to add this very thematic thing that makes it look like there are these big red LEDs to show you which bot you're using right now, and is your bot holding anything? That's the magnetic tether. And is your bot currently producing an energy beam, which is exactly like Portal's. I could go back and show you a level. Exactly like Portal's energy beams, where as the robot, if you stand it in the beam, it'll shoot the direction you're facing. So can I get this guy? No. Alright, so let's go through the teleporter. Oh, actually, hold on. Let me see, what does this button do? Brings that this way. Okay, we can't do that. We probably have to get rid of these red barrels, and those red barrels can be gotten rid of with the laser beam. So hopefully I'll get to show you that. I probably can't go down there after. Oh, you know what? Here we go. Let's pick this up.
Oh, you've gotten yourself a little trapped. I'm sure you'll work something out.
Nope, wrong thing. I've done the wrong thing. Let's go ahead and hit that there. So these should blow up those red boxes, or cylinders, capsules. I don't know what they are.
You do have a knack for blowing up your problems, don't
So the biggest problem with the UI is that when I'm using the bot on the right, why would I ever need to look on the camera on the left? Like, I get it that maybe I could position this to so that I could look back and remember certain parts of the level, and maybe if I hit a button with the guy on the right, I'll better know. Oh wait, I goofed. I'll better know what the effect is, like in a level like this one when you can't see the whole map at once. But in general, I find that's not the case, and that the bot you're not using takes up a disproportionate amount of screen real estate. So the symbol on the lower left is just used as an image to show the guy talking to you, and then it's this logo. Otherwise, probably could be done in an overlay, right, and not actually constantly take up that screen space. Same with the space where text is. In the bottom center of the screen. I would say the same thing there. And I would also, again, argue that the indicators on the lower right maybe aren't that important and could also be done with small symbols in the corner of each of the screens. And in fact, the bot you're not using could probably take up a screen that is much smaller than the one you are using. It would be a little strange, I think. Okay, I guess you can't walk over that. I guess it would be a little strange to maybe have the, have a small screen and a big screen, and then which bot you're using changing on each one. But I think overall, so I guess I'm saying is I don't have the solution, but overall, I'm a little disappointed at how small part of the screen I'm looking at every time when I have this big monitor, and it just seems silly to me that I'm only looking at this tiny corner, and then I switch and I'm looking at a different tiny corner, but I'm never really changing what I'm looking at. So, okay, so here's another pipe that drops explosions. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop this here so that we don't have to keep traveling over to get those explosive bombs. Okay. So another area in which the things are a little unclear is the menus, which we're going to go back to later. But first, let me talk about something that I like. I just talked about something I don't like. Let me talk about something I do like. So the type of puzzles we're seeing, this sort of use two things, two characters, control two things, but only have control over one of them at a time. I think I know what we need to do here. It's been done before, right? But I don't think that it's ever been combined, or at least not that I've seen, ever been combined in the way that it has with sort of this Portal style of doing things, where, you got the buttons and the crates and the laser beams, and it's those kind of puzzles. So I definitely think that it's unique in the sense that I haven't really played one like that, especially I have not played one. Woo! Make it in time! Nice. I especially haven't played one like this where with this particular theme, right? We've seen sci-fi. I guess I would say the Portal is sci-fi, right? Plenty of other sci-fi puzzle games, but there has never really been one in this old alien style, like sci-fi of the 80s theme. And so I like that. I think it really works for it. I also think that the voice acting is really good for an indie game and really adds a lot. It's very lighthearted, but still gets a plot across. The fact that they even bothered to put in a plot and not just keep it very abstract is something I always appreciate. I'm excited to see what this moving thing is. Presumably it's some kind of alien. Oh, here's a new mechanic. Haven't seen that green goo before, and these white platforms before I haven't seen either. So it seems to me like there's a big variety outside of just the crates and lasers. So I would say that this has a lot of depth to the puzzles, and I haven't even played all the levels, so it could be very, very lots of depth. Very lots of depth. Good talking. Alright, so I think I pretty much talked about everything I want to talk about. Oh no, sorry, one more thing. The controller support. So, alright, should I touch this? Oh, I see. It seems to be jamming up this. Okay. So I bet we're gonna have to blow this up.
Assure me that this is an organic compound, some sort of secretion. But secreted from what?
Let's go ahead and put that there. Whoops, wrong button. Controller support. It's definitely full. It's definitely there. I would say that it was more intuitive to use keyboard and mouse. I don't really have much more to say other than that. How would one get that up there? Or maybe you can blow it up? Let's give that a go. Yeah, if I use the keyboard and mouse, or the arrow keys as opposed to WASD, that's what I meant to say, not keyboard and mouse. I mean, it is a keyboard and mouse, but you can sort of get a little bit of angle on both cameras, which maybe is an argument for why both screens need to exist, because you can actually sort of look around left and right, but you can't look too far, right? I'm holding right. I'm holding left, I'm holding up. I can't turn it all the way around. Okay, that didn't work. I don't know how to get that, but I don't really care about getting the collectibles too much, so that's fine. I don't know what these blue hand railing things are. Maybe it's just different style. But yeah, the controls otherwise are just a little bit less intuitive. There's a lot of buttons that don't do anything because there are no, that's wrong again. A lot of buttons that, not a lot of whole actions. I think the interesting part about this game is you don't have a lot of actions.
Really need to blow that up.
But,
Suppose it has released its grip on that that platform.
you know, yeah,
Next
I don't
time
know.
you find any worrying organic matter, try and save some for further analysis.
Right. So that's pretty much all I have to say. I think now that we seem to have finished off this level, unless maybe, so I do like how they talk to each other. There does appear to be some attempt at personality with these robots and, with the narrator and everything. And I think it works. Obviously, this is not Portal tier, right, where you're being toyed with a narrator. But then again, if it did try to do that, I would probably be rolling my eyes the entire time at how much it's trying to be like Portal, which I think we've all seen enough games do. So, all in all, very pleased with the theming of this game, despite the fact that maybe the way the developer decided to carry that theme a little bit too far into the UI to the point where it becomes obstructive and is not such a great thing. But I do think the choice of theme is a good choice. Voice acting, again, great. Dialogue seems fine.
Place is huge. Such a mess.
We're not going to attempt this level.
Cargo lift.
I'm going to talk about menus and settings, which I know is pretty boring, but it is something of note for this game. So we're going to go ahead and quit. Get this nice loading screen transition. Loading times don't seem bad at all. We're now on the main menu. Which menu item do I have selected right now? I have continue in the upper left. See how that red dot there? But that red dot is equidistant. First of all, it doesn't look, because it's not really next to the menu item, it doesn't really look to me like it is indicating what's selected, but it is. And also, you have to realize that there's another red dot below these lower ones, because that red dot is equidistant between continue game and specific mission, the option below it. So, that's not great in my opinion. I get this feel of the theme where it's this big, it's sort of like in the olden days when they made this big hardware with the big LEDs on it and red lights blinking and stuff. They didn't have great layouts either, right? So it kind of fits with the theme, and I get it. But in the interest of making it easy to navigate the menus, it's not great. It's not terrible, but it's not great. But there's no menu item here for controls. You have to see that in the lower right of the middle screen, I can press controls F1 and Y to get the controls. Anyways, here they are. So there you go. That's the controls. Pretty simple to read layout there. You cannot keybind them, as far as I can tell. I don't have a mouse in this game, so I can't keybind them, which is always nice. But it's not a disaster because at least the keyboard ones are pretty intuitively laid out. Let's go into settings here. This is where I have some questions for you guys, some confusion. So you get this almost robot chicken-like. That may even be the Robot Chicken, or Adult Swim, when they have those black title screens that make fun of their audience music. This might be the same, but it's very similar. It's very cute. I like it. Shows off the art asset in a way that's not bad. Yeah, I think the screen is cool, but, so you can change here between... What am I doing? So you can change here between the different anti-aliasing, I think. Post CRT only. This is, CRT and SSAO, SSR. So this is controlling, I guess, the intensity of I guess CRT is like the style of monitor, right, to make it look old. I don't know. There's the resolution, and then there's the sadness? Am I reading that right? This just confused me so much. Does that say sadness? Because I changed this to 8, and then I hit apply, and we can do finish. And then I can go back to settings, and it's gonna be off again. So I have no idea what it does. I think it says sadness, unless I'm goofing on something. But I guess that kind of speaks to maybe a poor choice of font. That is all I have to say. You can't control the sound. I've had to really dial down the sound in my recording so that it doesn't drown me out, because you have no control over it whatsoever in-game as far as I can tell, unless there's a mute button here. No. Yeah, so in typical indie game fashion, it lacks those polish items that a lot of indie games have. Or not have, but don't have, rather, but a lot of AAA titles do have, right? Like controlling sound options, or not just changing resolution, but also changing whether or not it's windowed or full screen, or changing whether or not it's borderless full screen. Rekey binding the controls is another example. But as you got to see, I wish I could show you just the map to show you so we could actually count up number of levels there are. But as you got to see, there was a good number of levels, some sort of plot, and the puzzles very engaging and thought-provoking. I've played this game for maybe 2 hours. Of course, a lot of that was spent, combing through control settings and I wasn't actually just straight playing level after level after level, so maybe that's not the best use of time, and I'm maybe halfway through, if that. So, would recommend. I think it's probably worth the price if you like puzzle games. If you like the cute little robots, that's a plus. If you can get over the fact that pretty much at any given time you're only looking at a third or a quarter of the screen, then pick it up. And that's all I have to say for this game. Thanks for being an awesome audience. That's it for me for now. See you in the next one.